Only in the late 90s and early 2000s could you get such a bizarre, unorthodox licensed game as Kiss Psycho Circus: The Nightmare Child. A game based on a comic book, which in turn was inspired by the extravagant veteran rock band, it seems almost like a fantasy upon first inspection. After a PC release in 2000, Dreamcast owners would be treated to their own version some months later, despite the console seeing a decline in popularity with the imminent arrival of other consoles. Sadly, for developer Tremor Entertainment, their porting efforts would prove less glam rock and more disjointed riff, with a lackluster FPS made worse by noticeable technical failings, a poorly told story, and a genuine lack of memorable moments. Not even some cool weapons and aesthetics can save it. Todd McFarlane's Psycho Circus would expand on the personas of each Kiss member as elders who defend the realms from evil forces. The Nightmare Child focuses on a tribute band who, after a hellacious night, begins searching for pieces of armour which transforms them into the Four Who Are One. The story could have proven interesting, with plenty of intriguing lore potential here, but sadly it is poorly articulated, with a severe lack of cutscenes, no spoken dialogue, and lengthy text diatribes which add little substance. It's a pity, because you could imagine with more effort that the narrative could have proven a key point. Instead, it ends up striking a bum note. It means both the story and the world feel like a waste. The Nightmare Child spreads its shooting levels across 4 key acts, each scene you play as one of the 4 members of the group. It begins a cycle that repeats every time you change act. You search for your unique melee weapon, kill dozens of creatures while seeking the rest of the armour pieces, and then escape a final level. Rinse and repeat. It gets old pretty quickly, causing a stop-start sensation every time you make progress. While there is a good deal of enemy variety, most sway between simplistic to frustrating. While the endless spawners spew weak headless and hellhounds, some larger foes, such as the rotund acrobat with a cannon arm, can loop you in hit animations, which proves frustrating. It ends up a slog, as although you can respawn indefinitely after dying, the sheer number of cheap enemies and moments, such as awkward first-person platforming, will see you sent back dozens of times in some levels. It doesn't help that your roster of weapons is near identical between each, leaving the shooting very repetitive even when you change characters. While the shotgun packs more punch than a cannon, the whip feels lame to use, and the machine gun feels underpowered. You get plentiful ammo for every gun, but most don't feel that great to handle. The only blessing is that each character comes with 2 unique weapons, the aforementioned melee strike and a super-powered gun that has rare ammo but kills most foes instantly. Whether you're summoning a black hole or shooting lava with an actual dragon, it spawns some of the best moments of this mostly rote experience that lacks much in the way of memorable moments or fights, with only a single boss fight at the game's end and little variation between each act. It ends up feeling like a game of give and take. The controls, despite the Dreamcast's lack of a second analog stick, feel solid enough, but the lack of mouse and keyboard feels odd when ports like Quake 3 and Unreal Tournament boasted this. The campaign is lengthy and features 3 difficulties, which all have a good dose of challenge which gradually increases between, but the multiplayer component featured in the PC version was cut. The style of the comic does translate into some grim scenery, moody lighting and atmospheric moments, which combined with some slick music does feel engrossing. But then, when the action gets too chaotic on screen, slowdown can become severe and leaves inputs feeling unresponsive. For every high moment, something saps you back down to reality. A monster crop of superior FPSs on the console, Nightmare Child feels inadequate. Despite the high number of concessions made to bring this to the Dreamcast, most critics at the time didn't seem to crucify this as much as other games committing similar offences. One could argue that the looming launch of other consoles proved a distraction, but ultimately, it's likely because Kiss Psycho Circus The Nightmare Child was hardly a belter on PC, even with everything intact. This version proves an ugly, inferior conversion. Repetitive beyond belief, narratively underwhelming, and a chore to play, this FPS sits near the bottom of the Dreamcast pile. Kiss fans will bemoan the distinct lack of music from the band, while shooter fans will notice the shortage of quality.